How y'all doing? I'm the Watchman, and this is part two of dead birds and fish and how they fulfill a specific Bible prophecy. A specific Bible prophecy. All right, y'all. We serve a great God, y'all, and not only will He warn us when He's upset with the land and is about to punish the land, because punishment is gonna come, but He's so loving and so great. Well, not only will He warn us, but also in that warning, He will let us know why and how to escape His punishment. He will let us know why and how to escape His punishment. So first, I'm gonna go over the warning one more time, and then I'm gonna show y'all why, and then also how to escape His punishment. All right. Let's go to Hosea 4. Go back to Hosea 4. And we're going to go through 1 verse 3 one more time. And it says, "Hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel. For the Lord hath a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of God in the land. By swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out, and blood toucheth blood. Therefore shall the land mourn, and everyone that dwelleth therein shall languish with the beasts of the field, with the fowls of the heavens. Yea, and the fishes of the sea also shall be taken away. Also shall be taken away." And the more I studied, the more I prayed to the Lord to show me His word, the truth in His word, and why God is so wonderful that He shows a sobering fact that I'm about to share with y'all concerning these things. All right. Turn in your Bibles, go to Genesis 6. Go to Genesis 6 and verse 5. I just want to read over these chapters one more time. "And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And it repented the Lord that He had made man on the earth, and it grieved Him in His heart." That's sad. "And the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast and creeping thing and the fowls of the air, for it repenteth me that I have made them." Verse 11. "The earth also was corrupt before God, and the earth was filled with violence. And God looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted his way upon the earth." Remember, God said all flesh. I mean, church folk, good folk, evil folk, everybody, even myself. "And God said unto Noah, The end of all flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them, and behold, I will destroy them with the earth." All right, now let's pick up where we left off in 2. Where we left off in part one. All right, in part one, where we left off, we got to the part of where all the animals had just walked two by twos and sevens and by sevens into the ark. Now, I have to reiterate, that was a sign for the people of Noah's day. Even though Noah had been preaching for 120 years and nobody believed him, if you see chickens walking in front of an alligator in single file line, zebras walking in front of a lion, and nobody's eating nobody. Everybody's just paying it, just stepping and walking into the ark. How great of a sign is this? But man's mind was so focused on the world, on the things around him. Remember, Jesus said in Luke 17, verse 25, "As it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the day of the Son of Man." So that God was basically saying, not only is it just a specific part about what happened in Noah's day, but God was talking about the whole story of Noah. See, their minds were so much on evil, as we see in Genesis 6, where it said, "And their minds were on evil continually." Genesis 6, verse 5. That is today. They were involved, the bowl games have been going on. They were too worried about the bowl games. Who's gonna win the bowl games? The playoffs. You know what I mean? That is not evil, but it keeps your mind occupied off of what it could be. They're not evil. And I want to stress those certain things are not evil. But sometimes I heard a man say at one time, it isn't the big sins that kills you, but it's the little eatings, nibblings off the table of the world that keeps your mind and heart away from God. You can nibble off the table of the world, just watch an hour of this show, and then you watch a bowl game that take 3 hours, and then you might end with your regular nightly show, and then you might watch this. Next thing you know, 6 hours have passed, and you go to bed. You know, not during that 6, 7 hours. You went to work, then you watch this show, then you watch the game, then you watch a couple more shows. Next thing you know, you go to bed. But guess what? You haven't spent no time with God. You spent 6, 7 hours watching these different shows, taking little niblets off the world, which might not have been bad shows, good little sitcoms. But you do this on a regular basis so much that you look up and you haven't spent any time with God. The devil will rather keep you nibbling off the world and fill up your time with niblets than rather have you spend time with God. All these things are set up really to keep us from spending quality time with God. But anyway, gotta get back to the lesson. Gotta get back to the lesson. But anyway, the people's mind was so occupied with the world that they didn't notice this great sign of the animals walking 2 by 2 and by sevens into the ark. You know, they probably made up some excuses like the scientists and people are doing nowadays. Oh, that's not a sign from God. That's, they were attracted to the gopher wood, The gopher wood attracted them, you know. Or it's that funny boat that Noah's making. That's why the animals walked into it. But anyway, they ignored this great sign from God. And then as it says in Genesis 7, Genesis chapter 7, verse, let's see, let's go to verse 9. Go to verse 9. No, Genesis 7 verse 16. Genesis 7 verse 16. And they that went in male and female of all flesh, as God had commanded him, and the Lord shut him in. See, once that door was shut, even though rain didn't fall for 7 days, and the people were probably even mocking Moses even more, joking and laughing. Think about it. The third day, I could picture people outside the ark said, "Oh, wow, Moses and all them, Noah and all them animals are in the ark, and not one drop of rain fell or hit us. Not one drop." I told you he was crazy. I told you he was crazy. They not knowing that probation was closed on them. Probation was already closed. The door was shut. Remember, Jesus said, as it was in the days of Noah. And he was talking about the whole story, y'all. So what that showed me was that probation is going to close on us. And we're going to be going about our everyday thing. If I look up, the door of the ark was shut 7 days before it rained, before one drop of rain fell. If we look at that in prophetic time, a day being a year to God, so that could mean that, okay, God shows us this great sign of the animals dying. And 7 years from now, Jesus might not come from 7 years from now. And in the middle of that 7 years, I can see people saying, "Oh, I told you that wasn't no sign. Jesus ain't coming again." But it's scary that whole 7 years probation could be closed. The books could be shut up. The books could be shut up. As the door of the ark was shut on the people. And even though it hadn't rained, the probation was already closed. Probation was already closed. And another thing that I want to show is that as we seen in Hosea 4, turn back to Hosea 4, as we seen in Hosea 4, verse 3, therefore shall the land mourn, and everyone that dwelleth therein shall languish, with the beasts of the field, the fowls of the heaven, and the fishes of the sea also shall be taken away. And as we see right here in Noah, God used animals as a sign that probation was about to close. When God was about to destroy the earth, right here in the prophecy of Hosea, and then in Noah. And with Noah, when God was about to destroy the earth, he used a sign of the animals dying. In both instances, he used a sign of the animals as a sign that probation was about to close and God was about to destroy man and punish man, basically. Not destroy man completely, but punish man. That is very crucial, and it is a very sobering thought to hear God use the sign of the dead animals of the animals dying in both situations as a sign that he was about to punish man. that probation was about to close. As it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be when the Son of Man comes. And I pray, y'all, that we get right, that we don't want to be on the other side of that door when it shuts. You know, we want to have our names in that book and not outside that book, talking about the book of life, y'all. But let's keep going. Let's keep going. Now, I want to show, if we turn in our Bibles to Hosea 4, let's go back to Hosea 4. And we're going to read at verse 4. Start at verse 4, outside the prophecy. God says, yet let no man strive. Now he's telling the mentality of the people. As we seen the mentality in Noah's day, now let's look and also see why in verse 4. This is very crucial, y'all. Hosea 4, verse 4. Yet let no man strive, nor reprove another, for thy people are as they that strive with the priests. Now, isn't that sad? Now, does that describe the day? You could tell somebody, thus saith the Lord all day, and they will still argue with you. They will conform the word, they will change it. But God is so simple. But you could say God says this, and they could say it plain and clear. But people will still argue with you nowadays. Instead of just believing, okay, God said it, I'll do it. That is the mentality of the day nowadays. Verse 5, therefore shalt thou fall in the day, and the prophet also shall fall with thee in the night. Remember, it said all flesh. And I will destroy thy mother. Verse 6, for my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest in me, seeing that thou hast forgotten the law of thy God. I will also forget thy children. Wow. So all of these things are a repercussion of the people of the land forgetting God's law, what God calls rejecting, and what God calls, he says, for like people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, because you have forgotten God's law. So this is the reason why God is destroying the land, and that the land is the way it is, because man has forgotten God's law. Isn't that today? A lot of churches will tell you, oh, you're not under the law, you're under grace. Well, to receive grace, let's see, because Moses, we deal with this with Noah. I keep saying Moses, but we deal with this with Noah. Let's see how why Noah was shown grace and mercy. Verse 8, Genesis 6, verse 8, it says, but Noah found grace in the eyes of God. Yes, Noah found grace. But why did Noah find grace? Go to verse 9. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man and perfect in his generations, and Noah walked with God. So Noah found grace because he was just and he walked with God. Is that it? That is not it. That is not the end. Let's go to Genesis 7. Go over to Genesis 7, and we're going to read verse 1. And the Lord said unto Noah, come thou and all thy house into the ark, for thee I have seen righteous before me in this generation. So amongst Noah's generation, Noah was a just man. He walked with God, and he was righteous. Now these three things helped Noah to find grace. But is that it? That is not all. Go back to Genesis 6:22. Genesis 6:22. Now knowing that Noah was just man, and he walked with God, and he was righteous. Now let's read Genesis 6:22. Thus did Noah according to all that God had commanded him. Noah did all that God had commanded him. That's one instance of hearing that Noah did God's commandments. That's just one instance. Now go to Genesis 7 verse 5. Genesis 7 verse 5. And Noah did according to all that the Lord had commanded. That's two of hearing that Noah did God's commandments. Now let's go to Genesis 7 verse 9. Genesis 7 verse 9. There went in two and two unto Noah into the ark, the male and the female, as God had commanded Noah. That's three times we hear of Noah following God's commandments. Go to Genesis 7 verse 16. And they that went in male and female of all flesh, as God had commanded him, and the Lord shut him in. So God will secure you. For we saw in Hosea 4 verse 6, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, seeing thou hast forgotten the law. We seen that Nowadays, they will tell you you do not need the law, but we see that God has destroys people who forgets His law, and punishment will come. And we see that Noah survived and was shut in because he did all that God had commanded him, and he found